What is up, everybody? Today I've got some exciting news. I've got my very own gold ink set coming out with World Famous, and I'm going to show you how I personally make gold reflective tattoos with only that ink set. The set itself contains 10 different colors ranging from dark brown all the way to soft yellow. It also contains a red and a green because gold isn't just yellow tones. Gold reflects all the colors around it, and it generally turns it a red or green hue. So my set includes every single color you could ever need to make gold reflective shiny tattoos like myself. Remember, this is just how I personally do it, and there's no really wrong way to approach it. So let's head on over to the shop and I'll show you how I do it utilizing only the colors in my gold set, minus black and white of course. Before we get started, I wanted to go over all of these colors and why I picked some of them. The very dark brown is called black gold, and that's just a great transition color from black to a dark brown. We have copper, which is a great color for capturing depth. Next we have fool's gold, which is more of a muted gold color, and that captures the dull side of an object. Next we have 4 tones that I named after gold respectively. 10 karat, which is the darkest of the gold. 14 karat, which is slightly brighter, maybe a little more orange. 18 karat, which is a true golden yellow. 24 karat, which is a nice bright yellow. White gold, which is a great color for blending the 24 karat into white. Next, we have a red and green tone, which I said previously is great for adding that 3-dimensional effect. With the dark rose, you can add white and it turns into, you guessed it, rose gold. And lastly, we have oxide, which is a green tone that you find in almost every piece of gold. So I start by putting a gray wash outline around the entire border. I think it really helps separating the skin tone from the golds, and it gives it a nice contrast. So let me do that real quick. I don't go too dark with the gray wash outline. It's just enough so when it heals, it's there but not really seen. And right now I'm using a 3 round liner bug pin. It just keeps it so it's nice and thin, and again, it's not really supposed to be that visible. There's a few parts on the inside of the tooth that I'll also add those gray wash outlines to, just to separate some of the tones. Like, for example, separating the browns from the light yellows. Essentially anywhere I want there to be a sharp edge. Because sometimes the colors blend together a little too much if there's not a separation of an outline, so I just want to make sure that it remains nice and crisp, especially after the heal. The gray wash outline is light enough so when I go over it with a dark brown, it's not really going to affect it in any way. Some of these areas I'm using a dark brown as well, mixed with some water, just so it's similar to a gray wash outline, but it's actually brown. This area here I know is going to be solid black, so I'm going to keep it black. And same over here. I'm just trying to work in all the sharp edges and the darker areas of the tooth. That way if I lose my stencil, it's not really that big of a deal. And again, I like using the 3 liners just because it stays nice and crisp. You could get away with a 5 or a 9, but I don't feel like it's as crisp as a 3, especially on those sharp edges. Just filling in some solid black here with a liner. And this is an interesting spot because it is black on the outside, but it's also black on the inside. So there will be some sort of browns or caramel colors inside of there. I'm trying not to overthink these shapes too much compared to the reference, because sometimes the reference, it can have a whole lot of detail, and I don't really want to do every little piece of that. I just want to keep it pleasing to the eye. And again, I'm just trying to keep everything as sharp and straight as possible so it has more of that metallic effect. And this is one of the reasons why I like to use a liner for some of the color packing, just so it stays nice and sharp. Adding a nice crisp edge. I don't think I was quite satisfied with my lighter brown there, so I just went a bit darker. Right now I'm mixing the black gold with my copper just to kind of lighten it up a bit. And again, any of these colors you can feel free to mix around with. That's what they're there for. If something's too light, these colors work great to tone them down or make them brighter, which is exactly what I'm doing right here. I'm just filling in the little corners of the darker areas with my liner because sometimes I'm not completely satisfied with how a round mag or curved mag gets in there. Just cleaning off my tattoo right now because I'm a messy boy and I like to spread ink a little bit of everywhere, if you couldn't tell. I'm slowly adding in a bit more coppers and the 10K. And at this point, I'm still trying to keep everything nice and sharp. That's why I'm still using my liner. Eventually we'll get to the mags, and that's where I will soften and blend everything up. As you can tell, I switched over to my mag at this point to kind of fill those areas in a bit faster. I've lightened up the 10K a little bit with the 14K, and as I said earlier, these colors complement each other really well. So if you need to go a bit brighter, all you have to do is use the next step up. At this point, I'm just blocking in my highlight colors with the Fool's Gold. I mixed a bit of that black gold with some white gold just to soften it up a bit. I'm not really mixing any colors with white at the moment because that's what the white gold is for. If you need to go brighter on a gold tattoo, I think that's the way to go. Otherwise, the tones just get a bit too soft. I'm using a curved mag to separate colors in this area, just so it's not as stark as those areas that I would use a liner. You need the contrast. You need some sharp areas and some softer blended areas. I don't think I was completely satisfied with my shades on that, so I just took it a bit darker. Let me go ahead and clean that up for you. I'm starting the transitional phase from the lighter yellows to the white. Again, I need some separation here. I'm just focusing on where those highlights will be. introducing some copper just to bring those darker tones down a bit and give it a better contrast overall. Just reinforcing some of my edges a bit. On the right side of the tooth is where I'm focusing the oxide colors, the more green tones, and on the left side is where I'm focusing more on the dark rose colors, just to give it a really nice contrast from the left side to the right. Slowly building in those 24 karat and white gold tones. And as you can see here, I've blocked my highlight areas with that white gold. Again, it'll just give it a really nice transition to the whites when everything's said and done. I like using my liner for these smaller highlights just because it keeps it nice and sharp, and it's almost more dramatic. If there's a bigger area, I'll switch over to my mag just to fill in the space a bit faster, and it is less dramatic. If it's a very stark highlight, I will outline the edge of it, just so it separates itself from the white gold. So just try to keep in mind, stark highlights I use a liner, and if it's a softer highlight, softer blend, then I'll switch over to the mag. Right here I'm using a liner to build in the bright whites, but I will eventually come back with a mag to soften those out into that white gold. And as I said before, this is where I blend those liner highlights with a mag just to keep it nice and soft, and it's a really nice blend to those white gold tones. It is bleeding quite a bit at this stage, but it is a lot of work in a small area. You just have to trust where you're putting your ink. And finally, I let it sit in some foam soap just to really pull some of that redness out. And if it's still too red, you can use a little bit of Bactine, wrap it with some Saran wrap, and give it about 10 minutes. And for the reveal. Ooh, shiny. And there you have it. That's how it's done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these tutorials in the future, and be sure to check out my ink set as soon as it drops, anywhere world famous inks are sold. Until next time, peace.